Have you ever noticed something strange? You can lose weight. The scale goes down. Your clothes fit better, but your belly, that stubborn belly fat just won't go away. And you start wondering, what am I doing wrong? Why does my stomach still look like this? Here's the truth most people never hear. That fat isn't just fat, and that's exactly why normal weight loss doesn't always fix it. Because the most dangerous fat in your body isn't the fat you can pinch. It's the fat you can't see. It's called visceral fat, and this type of fat doesn't sit under your skin. It wraps itself around your organs, your liver, your pancreas, your intestines. This is the fat that quietly drives type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, heart disease, and even certain cancers. That's why doctors care more about belly fat than the number on the scale. But here's the good news. While visceral fat is dangerous, it's also the easiest fat to lose once you know how to target it correctly. And to understand how to shrink it fast, you need to understand one key thing. Visceral fat isn't fueled by calories alone. It thrives on inflammation. Yes, calories matter. Yes, energy balance matters. But visceral fat grows best in a body that's inflamed and metabolically stressed. That's why two people can eat the same amount of food and store fat completely differently. So if you want to lose visceral fat quickly, you don't just eat less, you eat smarter. One of the most powerful tools for this comes from plants, specifically carotenoid-rich foods. Carotenoids are natural pigments. They're what make carrots orange, tomatoes red, and spinach dark green. But their real power isn't their color. It's what they do inside your body. Carotenoids are powerful antioxidants. They neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells, disrupt metabolism, and signal your body to store fat. When that damage goes down, your body becomes better at burning fat instead of holding on to it. And here's something most people don't realize. Carotenoids don't just protect your cells, they influence your genes. They help activate genes involved in fat burning and quiet down genes that promote fat storage, especially visceral fat. In a randomized, double-blind study, people who ate carotenoid-rich vegetables for just 8 weeks significantly reduced their visceral fat. And it didn't matter which vegetables they chose. Every group that increased carotenoids improved, which means this doesn't need to be complicated. If it's colorful, it's probably helping you. Carrots, sweet potatoes, bell peppers, spinach, squash. Simple foods, real results. But carotenoids aren't the only compound that visceral fat responds to. Another powerful weapon is something you've heard about for years, but probably underestimated: green tea. And yes, it really does burn fat. Not because it detoxes you, but because it contains compounds called catechins. Catechins directly change how your body handles fat. They increase fat oxidation. They boost energy expenditure. They stimulate your nervous system to burn stored fat more efficiently. They also block certain enzymes that help absorb dietary fat, meaning less fat gets stored in the first place. And green tea is especially powerful because it also contains caffeine. Caffeine works together with catechins to amplify fat burning, particularly visceral fat. In controlled clinical trials, people who consumed catechin-rich green tea for 12 weeks saw significant reductions in visceral fat. No extreme dieting, no intense workouts, just consistency. And if you want the strongest effect, choose minimally processed green teas like matcha or sencha. Now here's where exercise comes in. Exercise affects visceral fat differently than it affects body weight. We're taught to judge progress by the scale, but visceral fat doesn't show up there very well. Large reviews of scientific studies show that, while diet drives overall weight loss, exercise has a stronger effect on reducing visceral fat specifically. In one study, people exercised just twice a week for 45 minutes at a time. That's it. After 2 months, they reduced their visceral fat by nearly 50%. Their insulin sensitivity improved, their metabolic health improved, and their body weight barely changed. This is why the scale can lie to you. You can be making massive health progress without seeing dramatic weight loss. So don't get discouraged. Now, what type of exercise works best? Research shows that vigorous aerobic exercise, and high-intensity interval training are the most effective. Resistance training is still important, especially for muscle and metabolism, but if your goal is to shrink visceral fat quickly, cardio matters more. And here's the most important part. There is no perfect exercise. Running, cycling, swimming, rowing, dancing, they all work. HIIT and steady cardio are surprisingly similar in effectiveness. What actually matters is what you'll stick with. The workout you enjoy and repeat consistently will always beat the perfect plan you avoid. A good target is 2 to 3 sessions per week, about 45 minutes each at moderate to vigorous intensity. If you can talk in full sentences, but sound a little out of breath, you're in the right zone. And here's the final truth. Exercise is dose-dependent. The more you do, within reason, the more visceral fat you lose. Dieting isn't. There's a limit to how much calorie restriction helps, and past that point, it often does more harm than good. So, no, you don't need to starve yourself to lose belly fat.